I wanted to try filming the highest quality, most cinematic shot I possibly could using the Insta360 X3. I have the camera set to regular video recording at 5.7K, 30 FPS. Exposure is set to auto. The color profile I've changed to log. Shooting in log is really important. This is going to allow me to push the colors in any direction that I want with a completely custom color grade in post-production. And I'm going to be faking a drone shot using the Insta360 Ultra Long Selfie Stick. By the way, there are links for all of the equipment that I'm using in the description below. The shot's been filmed, and now it's time to dive into editing. Using the Insta360 Studio program, you can click and drag on the video to reframe it, looking in whatever direction that you want. Click on the plus sign to add a keyframe, and you'll see this View Angle Options panel come up here. If you don't see it, just click on the keyframe to bring it up. By default, the camera has a warped fisheye effect that doesn't look cinematic at all. So I like to change this to natural view to straighten that out. I also like to take the FOV or field of view control and drag this out to around 120 for a really super wide angle field of view. Now you can go ahead and export this. Make sure that the bitrate is turned all the way up to 200. Select the resolution and type in 4096 by 2304 and start the export. Bringing that file into Final Cut Pro, it's now ready to color grade. Opening up the color inspector, I always like to start off by going to the color curves panel and creating a nice S curve in the luminance. And then I'm going to repeat that with the red, green, and blue curves as well. Opening a color board, take the shadows, make them a bit more teal, and the midtones and highlights slightly more orange. Log footage is very desaturated, so take the saturation up quite a bit. For this shot, I need to bring the exposure up and then darken the shadows to bring back the contrast. The sky is starting to get washed out at this point, but I like the brightness of the foreground and I don't want that to change. So create another color board, click Add Color Mask, make a selection of the sky so that these next edits will only affect the sky. Darkening the shadows and the midtones will start to bring back some of the details in the clouds. I also want the sky to be more blue, so go to color and drag the global color up into the blue area. Maybe take the highlights up that direction too. We're getting pretty close to the color that I'm looking for. I just want to emphasize it a bit more. So I'm gonna run through all of the adjustments I just made and push everything a little bit further. And now the colors are looking really nice. But there's still one more thing I wanna add to this video, which is some motion blur. If you were filming this with a cinema camera, you'd have an ND filter on there. You'd be shooting at a slower shutter speed, which would create some motion blur. That's something you can't do with this camera. So instead, I'm gonna try to fake it in post. With the video clip selected, hit Command C and then Command V to duplicate the clip. Take the clip you just created and drag it on top of the previous clip. Open up the effects browser, go to blur, and take the zoom blur and apply it to the top video clip. Now, motion blur should be happening to the parts of the image that are moving the fastest, which in this video happens to be down here along the bottom of the frame. So in the motion blur effects panel, click right here and add a shape mask. Then click on that again, select invert mask and adjust the mask area so that you're now just blurring along the bottom of the video. And that's our final result. Here's what the footage looked like before editing, and here's what it looks like after editing. I also went back and reshot this video using all of the default camera settings and also exported it with the default export settings. So here's what that video footage looks like. And here it is side by side with the log footage we just edited. These don't even look like they were filmed on the same camera. Here's before and here's after. Before, after. It's pretty incredible the quality of videos you can get using the X3 if you want to spend the extra time putting in the effort with post-processing. If you don't have Final Cut Pro, but you still want to achieve these same results with free software, I would actually recommend trying CapCut on your phone. It has some really good color grading tools, and there's a motion blur effect that you can add that will analyze your footage and put motion blur in all of the right places automatically. It's pretty insane. Though the results aren't always quite as good as Final Cut Pro, it's still definitely worth checking out. If you want to see how I color grade log footage with CapCut, click on this video over here. Make sure to go check out my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.